Hi everybody, welcome back to my moral life. I have been gone quite a long time, and in fact today's date is January 1st, 2019. Happy New Year. Okay, so I've been gone since I think 8-9 months ago for school. I was doing full-time school, not 40 hours a week, but school and full-time work for 6 months, and that's a lot for us people that aren't college age anymore. I was born in 1964 in Southern California, and I didn't think I could ever study and pass. And I got a certificate on December 15th. I graduated enough to actually get a job. I had a job interview in my new career field. I've ordered business cards. I've got a new cell phone that's new for me. I do not like cell phones. I don't have to like charging them over and over. Anyways, 2019 is starting out a whole new year for me. I've quit my old career. I have a cold. I won't start work until a little later in January. But I've been busy. It's been a good busy, and I wanted to share actually how the quality of my life has accelerated, especially, and let me reiterate that, the quality of my life has actually accelerated. I feel since I've done a few things, but mostly since I decided that morality, principles, being moral, ethical, was priority. I'm reading off my notes. Okay, so let's see. I have worked on a lot of self-forgiveness. And the typical things like things I felt bad that I've done. But I've also forgiven myself for things that were hard for me to think of as my fault and my responsibility. But along with being moral, my personal spiritual views is that we're all one. And if I'm going to do anything to someone or someone does something to me, it's like we're just all doing it to ourselves. So I decided to run with that theory, and let's say the things I didn't get along with my family members, I would take full responsibility of it and just feel that, and not the sadness of it or the guilt or the shame of it, not the feelings of it, but the actual guilt of it, of responsibility. And I would apologize to myself until all the energy was cleared and I just had full responsibility on my shoulders. Not guilt, not sadness, just nothing blocking that full taking on the responsibility, and then apologizing to myself and asking myself if I can accept my apology and forgive me. And then I would let myself just let that clear, and then I would see if I could actually forgive myself. And so far, I can see why they call this a working on yourself. Because you're literally, or at least I am literally, let me just put it in personal terms here, I was literally letting go of all kinds of energy or blocks. They say we're all made from energy, we're just all pure energy. And yet, in the third dimensional world, energy has mass and it can stick inside of you. And the ascension process is weighted down by the karma and the guilt energy, the lack of forgiveness. So then I decided I would try forgiving things from past lives, such as I am sure that in my past lives I was racist. I'm sure I was an abuser of other people, of children, of animals, of just like I bet you. Like, when I was a tiny little child and had no exposure to anything Asian, I did not like Asian art, Asian music, the way Asian people looked, the way Asian people, their musical scale. I loved the food, and I have always wondered about that. How would someone that had no clue about those people, that world, dislike them? What was that based on? And now I feel that's totally past life stuff. So I think that's the blessing of not remembering your past lives, because I can't imagine the pain of remembering the things that I've done in my past lives. such as being racist and prejudiced and abusive and enslaving and harmful and cruel towards non-whites, Hawaiians, black people, Jews, Asians, Native Americans, whether it's true or not, even on some level, even if you boil it down to we're all just one, I am guilty of all of it. So I thought, well, let's see what happens if I try to forgive myself for past life stuff. And of all the things I've forgiven myself for so far, that had a ton of energy, and it was really hard to clear out. It was just sticking. So I'm like, this is important. And I'm sure that if I go back and keep working on that one, I'll probably still be able to clear out more energy on that. But the forgiveness is there when you're super clear on the forgiveness part. When you're super clear on your apology and you're taking 100% responsibility, when I am, my forgiveness of myself comes a whole lot easier. So I feel quality of life was upped from a lot of that kind of work. I have decided to trust a whole lot more, and I mean in things worth trusting. I wasn't even trusting things worth trusting, like Mother Earth, trusting myself, trusting infinite source or one source. I always go back and forth. Shall I call it one source or infinite source? Since it's one thing and everything, I think both work. But just trusting, I think, is a beautiful gift to give to those that you love, such as Mother Earth. I love Mother Earth so much. I used to be the kind of person that's like, oh, someday I just want to get out of here. You know, when I die and move on spiritually, just, leave planet Earth in this whole dimension. But I want to stick around and help other people, clear their karma and choose what they really want to do with who they truly are. Another quality in my life that I feel has really accelerated is that I'm not lonely anymore. And that is a huge thing for me. I have been lonely my whole life, even when I lived with family, even when I was married. And no matter where you go, you're always with yourself. And wow, has life got a whole lot more quality in it when I don't feel lonely. I enjoy going out now by myself and doing all kinds of things that I used to go out and thought I was enjoying, and I started to realize, oh, this just reminds me how lonely I am. I don't want to go see that play in the theater. I don't want to go out to lunch and read a book. It reminds me of how lonely I am. But now it's like, oh, it's my favorite part of going out and doing fun things, getting to spend time with how happy and peaceful and joyful I am on the inside. My quality of life has also, along with not feeling lonely anymore, the not afraid of the future is a really, I think, a big piece of quality of life. I used to be afraid of the future, or dread the future, or think it was never going to change. And I think that kind of falls under not lonely anymore. Once I started not feeling lonely anymore, I was okay with the future. But a huge thing, a major factor to the joy in my life, is that I'm now practicing the philosophy of going with the flow. These are just all fun things to practice and find out for myself. And these ones so far, I've got an example I'll give you later, are just so making life rich, full, peaceful, deep, loving, genuinely happy. Okay, so going with the flow is a major factor to the joy in my life, and I find it dissolves fear, I'm reading my notes directly here, makes decisions easy, and makes life very interesting. It's funny how I taught myself to go with the flow. That was an interesting little thing that happened. It's fun experimenting and telling one source I want to hold its hand, if you will, in trust. So if I get a feeling like, oh, this is a happy and a joyful thing, or I go with, well, the plan was to do this, so I should stick with this, but it doesn't feel good, but it was the plan and it makes more sense, I've learned to go with the first option because it just works out better. And to me, that's going with the flow. So when a coworker of mine turned to me and said, Donna, you should try your career at such and such school, my heart said, yes. And to tell you the truth, I kind of feel like the career picked me. And that's fascinating. Usually I'm trying to decide, what should I do? What should I do? Well, what do you want? I don't know. I don't want to work at the DMV. I know that. I want it to be happy. And I truly feel that part of my life I topped out in, at least, if we're going to call it free-range slavery. I had the best job I could have had for that kind of life. But now that I'm going with the flow, I'm so excited about getting started. So excited about doing it. And yet I know it's not like the end all. It's just a really nice way to have a quality day-to-day giving to others kind of life, and making a living too. Okay, so I think another thing I do that really, really makes quality of life hugely accelerated for me is that I bless myself with galaxy-sized blessings. Part of taking care of yourself so that others don't have to have the burden of taking care of you is to really take care of yourself, so that you can fill yourself up and be overflowing with love or peace or good energy or good intentions. And I've always wanted to be that kind of person where I was just overflowing. Because if you're overflowing, everybody else gets the overflow. You get to be full, and your vessel's only so full. You don't need very much compared to how much space is out there. But the overflow can go on forever. So I've been bringing in the intention of blessing myself with galaxy-sized blessings. I want to give you an example. On December 2nd, 2018, 5 things happened in one day after I'd been blessing myself for about a week with galaxy size. Kind of just not pinpointing certain blessings that I wanted, but it was more like just overall life blessings in general. I didn't pinpoint. Sometimes I pinpoint blessings and sometimes I don't. But December 2nd, 5 things happened in one day. The first one was one of my 3 lifelong friends, it was her birthday. And I thought that was pretty special. And the fact that I remembered it, when she turned 30, I forgot. And I want to die because I was so busy that year. That was the busiest December of my life. And this December of 2018 was the second busiest December of my life, with finishing up school and work and graduating and all the things I had to do. One of my favorite persons ever came over for the day. That was the day I found out I got the job after a very intense hands-on interview, literally. Number 4 was I found out I got into a conference at a huge discounted rate as a gift. Conference that I'm going to go to in late February, early March. It's actually to become a breatharian. Thought I'd share that. I was debating whether you'd be interested in hearing that or not. But I'm actually in the state of mind where I'm experimenting. I'm trying. I want to see what it's like to be a breatharian. I'm going to try that. I'll report in on that if you are interested. All 8 subscribers if you are interested. And then the 5th thing that happened on December 2nd to me just this last year was I finished my last day of work with a big vacation starting the very next morning that I hadn't been on in a year. And that particular vacation I hadn't been on in 3 years. Went off to see a dear, 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 one of my 3 lifelong friends. Which, by the way, was an awesome vacation. I highly recommend going to escape rooms. The 3 of us went into escape room, and in 60 minutes we had 3 seconds to spare when we got out. I highly recommend going into salt rooms. There's a salt room off in the middle of the U.S. where you go in and they have imported pink Himalayan salt bricks from Pakistan. And they backlight them. They're just, you sit around and it grounds you. It's very relaxing. What I really want to share is the support I've been finding, and instead of going with the regular media, ABC, NBC, etc., CBS, NBC, CNN, I go with people that I like. Mark Passio online, on YouTube, on their websites. I find a lot of my people I keep on top of things with and learn from and meditate on and find out the truth about via mostly YouTube and online. And I recommend checking out, along with the others I've mentioned, Mark Passio, Mike Tellinger, David Icke. My mind goes blank at the moment. I recommend also Corey Goode. Corey Goode is a whistleblower. He was a military secret space program employee. I guess is the word when you're in the military. Are you an employee? And his website is SphereBeingAlliance.com. I highly recommend David Wilcock. Just like Mark Passio, he's a fantastic aggregator of information, news, and truth. I wish David Wilcock and Mark Passio could sit down and have a great big talk. It would be awesome. I just type in David Wilcock and I go for current things on anything on YouTube. He's all over the place there. He's got books, he's got video, he's got a website, however you want to find him. I paid the 99 cents for the first month at Gaia.com and listened to Cosmic Disclosure with David interviewing Corey Goode. And that's what got me started. But now I watch what they're doing currently. And in fact, let me just veer off my train of thought here a minute. I'm also looking into going into Contact in the Desert, the conference Contact in the Desert. It's going to start, I think it's May 31st through June 3rd in 2019, and that'll be in Southern California near south of San Diego. God. Starts with a P. Can't remember the... It's really... Palm Springs. Oh my God. Palm Springs. My family had some property down in Palm Springs when I was young. Anyways, Contact in the Desert will have all kinds of people who are fighting the cabal, going for truth, being moral and good, sending out good intentions, opening up hidden technologies, sharing about UFOs. Pardon me, I've gotten a text. And I just want to go down there and I want to join in on the celebration, the meditations, the lectures. The thing is that I still have more school and I've got some school I got to do, so we'll see if I can work that out. But anyways, if you go to Contact in the Desert of 2019 in Palm Springs, near Palm Springs, California this year, look me up, come say hi. I also, besides Corey Goode and David Wilcock, I've been watching Emery Smith. He's a whistleblower like Corey Goode and Randy Kramer. He was in the military. He was a 20 and back like Corey and Randy, meaning 20 years. He got service of 20 years in the military and then got age regressed back to the age he got started in. And all three of them started as kids. Corey started at age 6. Corey's been through the 20 and back program 3 times. You can see him confess that on the movie Above Majestic, which is available on YouTube for $3.99 at this date. You can also buy the CD. It came out #1 on iTunes and Amazon when it was released. It was a $50,000 production put out by Corey Goode and David Wilcock, and it has people like those two and William Tomlinson, I think that's his name, Jordan Sather, Emery Smith, etc. in it, talking about all these subjects that have to do with full disclosure. Most of this is about full disclosure from our government and them telling us all the technology and all the things they do know that would make life here so much better. I also have been following the YouTube website Edge of Wonder, hosted by Ben and Rob. It's cute how they can get a few little details wrong, like they once mentioned that they felt that the they felt that the Bible scripture Isaiah 11:16 talked about the lamb and the lion lie down together, or did they think it was the wolf and the lamb because of the Mandela effect? They were trying to figure out which one it was. But they should have been referring to Isaiah 1:16. Just little things like that. It's a really good practice to catch mistakes and not worry about it and not judge them and not say, I'm not listening to them because they don't agree with these other people that I believe are more correct. As long as these people are moral and good and trying to get full disclosure and being loving, forgiving, moral human beings, I'm going to listen to them and support them. As opposed to the government, the military, the cabal, the dark Illuminati, things like that. I also have checked out Jordan Sather, who I mentioned was in Above Majestic. His website is on YouTube is Destroy the Illusion, and he's one of the few political people. I'm so not into politics, but he at least explains politics, and he's got something I don't agree with, and I want to learn about why he thinks that way. I'd rather learn about why they want something than just say, oh, that's not what I want, and move on. It's really, really a good practice to say, oh, okay, you believe that way, that's fine. Like, when I'm a birtharian, I'm not going to care if people eat around me or eat meats. I'm not going to preach at them or tell them what to do. I'm just going to live my life and be the example of what I feel is my best me. That's what it's all about, because if I start getting upset with people that aren't living their life as pure as possible, who wants to be around that? Who feels loved by that? And besides, when you're really at peace about things, you know everything's going to be okay. Look at the sunshine coming in and messing up my shot. Sorry about that. I didn't even notice. Concentrating on what I'm talking about. Now, I don't want this video to go on forever. I don't know how many minutes it's been, but as you can see, I haven't cut the video, and the clock right there, I think it's been going for almost 30 minutes. Anyways, I want to tell you thank you so much for still being subscribed to me, for passing this on to anybody you know. I'm not on Facebook anymore, but hello to Steve from Russia and Jana Espiritu Santo. I hope you two are doing really well. Hello to Danny, and I don't know if you're still doing Rejuvenation anymore, but I wish the best to you. Hello to Virginia. So sorry, I can't remember your last name. You were on Facebook. And of course, David, I think it was David, that was the head of the Facebook group for Mark Passio, with whom I found most of you and met you at the Mind Truth Reality Conference last March in Arizona. I wish you all well. I am on Instagram now, and of course I'm still here on this YouTube channel. I cut out the comments because Mark Passio says turn off comment section, but I know you guys would have something positive to say to me. I wish you all well. Check out all these wonderful people on YouTube if you haven't already. Remember to forgive yourself and keep forgiving yourself and loving yourself, and then find how much overflow of love and giving you have to give to others. Thank you for watching. Happy New Year.